Let's see. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. That's right. Look right next to us. Eleyet McConnell, Chris, and Angie's in the house. How you two doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing good. Doing fantastic. Can't wait to get to our interview, but let me chat with the people out there in podcast land real quick. I want to thank each and every one of you checking out the No Cover TV podcast. The past shows, especially today's show and the future shows. We are quite busy getting the artist story and music out there around the world. We're in 36 countries and we are growing. And you please me. I'm proud of that. That's great. Yes, indeed. So if you want to get a hold of me, get on the show. Right down here scrolling is the email, nocovertv@uasa.com. I get this thing going sometimes because I talk to the European people, so sometimes I go into a different language. I don't even know what I'm doing. So anyways, everybody out there knows what I'm going to say next. Use my three favorite words. That's support, support, support. These artists get to the shows, pay a cover charge if there is one, get to the swag table, get a CD, an album, a t-shirt, a hoodie, a coffee mug, a keychain, a bumper sticker. It goes on and on. So get to the stage, enjoy that show. After the show, meet the artists, get an autograph. You just don't know what's going to happen with these artists. Artists love doing what they're doing. Put a smile on your face. And in return, your smile's putting a smile on the artist's face. So it's a great thing. Let's get to the show today. Eleyet McConnell, Chris and Angie in the house. We're going to have a great show today.
We can't wait.
Yeah. As we just discussed, it's going to be off the wall, off scripted, and unedited.
My favorite.
We like that.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Good deal. So before we move forward, I always want to go to the past a little bit. Now, you two are amazing. Your music's amazing.
Thank you.
Angie, you got an incredible voice. Very talented. Chris, very talented. Let's go back in time a little bit. Now, let's ask, you're a husband and wife duo.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How long have you two been together?
Well, we met in 2013.
2013.
We've been actually together as a couple.
About 6 years.
About 6 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 years. Oh, okay.
We got married in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay, great. So before you guys connected in 13, were you both inclined in the music industry doing your own thing? It sounds, like Angie, it sounds like you've been playing piano and singing for quite some time.
So I've been singing since I was born. I've known no different. But I haven't been singing in organized bands except until like 2010. I, sang in church with my mom and all that kind of stuff when I was younger. But I didn't decide to really pursue it that way until 2010. So we had, and I've been kind of going in that realm ever since. Chris has a much longer.
Oh, I've got about 54 years in it.
Yeah.
I've got records, albums. I mean, when we would practice with 45s, it goes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, as far as the piano for me, I didn't start playing piano until about 8 years ago because I had to learn. I grew up around one. My mom still plays. So I played a lot on the album. I played a lot of piano on the album, but there were times where our friend JD Harrison, who also produced the record, chimed in and played. And he's a phenomenal pianist, B3 organ player, all the things, loves synthesizers. So when we want, I'm a singer that can play piano a little bit. That's what I am.
I've been a bass player the whole time. Yeah, I play acoustic, but mostly I'm just bass.
Yeah.
Oh, mostly bass. Okay. Now, let me ask you before I switch to Chris real quick. Angie, what back in the day, let's say your teenage years, what were you listening to music-wise?
Oh, God. Okay. So in high school, the 80s, it was kind of like, I always say it's a lack of options. They weren't really big choices.
Yeah, right.
I loved Foreigner and Bad Company were probably two of my favorite bands that I really got into. But I was a Duran Duran freak when I was 14 years old. I not lie about that. I have to say.
That's great.
Oh my God, I loved it. But I love the classic stuff. My aunts, they were closer to age to me, like siblings, more than aunt and uncles. They were like, my aunt was 23 years younger than my dad. So I heard all the things they listened to, which they graduated in the 70s. And that's the stuff I grew up listening to when it was the secular music.
Right.
Yeah. So I love that stuff.
Yeah, so you listen to a wide range, and I hear, in company and that into some of today's music, because you're mostly doing kind of a country rock thing right now.
Yeah. Well, I grew up listening to country too. My dad was a diehard, outlaw fan. So the Waylon and the Merle Haggard.
There you go.
George Strait, all that stuff, Tammy Wynette, and gosh, Loretta Lynn, all of them. You know, I grew up with all of that in my house.
Great artists. All right. Let's talk to Chris here. Let's go back in time. Let's go to the late 70s. All right.
His favorite, the late 70s.
Oh yeah, let's go to the early 70s. That was the Otis Redding and Elvis Presley. You know, a lot of Motown. I was hearing Supremes and stuff. That was playing a lot in the house. Then from there, I personally started getting into Brit, Chicago, America. You know, the softer side of it. And then about, I don't know, maybe 72, 73 is when I really started playing music in bands. Actually, 70, but it started getting a little more serious. Then at that point, you know, I got with Billy Webb, and then we're doing, you know, about BTO, Deep Purple. You know, we're getting a little heavier.
There you go.
Believe it or not, I never did really do any Zeppelin until I got into the 80s. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
But you know, I did a lot of cruising in the country roads listening to Floyd and
I wore that cassette out the wall big time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That and Van Halen too. That was a thing I only listened to, I think, back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Great time. So if you could put a finger on it, what might have been somebody you kind of listened to or swayed to more, Chris, is say a musician somebody might have looked up to back then?
Well, you know, Roger Waters is the one that I really looked up to, you know, because that's the one that made me realize that you can really do a mood with the bass. But I've done everything in my power not to replicate that, you know. I mean, that's kind of cornered market. You don't want to, you know, be a copycat or something like that. Right. But, you know, I did like that. Other bass players, I don't know, man.
See, I've always said, I think when I listen to Chris play, I feel like I could be listening to an Ambrosia album, and the bass players like that, they have so much soul. They're kind of free with, you know, how they play. And I feel like his younger years really formed how he plays now. I
do a lot more playing, running up around the neck live than I do on the recordings, because Angie and I primarily do it as a duo. So, you know, you got a keyboard and a bass. It's a good rounded sound, but I got to fill a lot of space. Yeah. So I do a lot of runs, constantly keep it going. But it's so easy with her voice and you know, her delivery of a song. You know, we become one unit. One unit when we play.
That's good. Well, and it sounds like one unit. I mean, it just comes right together. It's great stuff. Now, being a bass player for quite some time, you got three techniques. You're either picking, plucking, or slapping the hell out of it.
Well, you know, right now I'm a finger. I just finger that thing. You know, I did picks a lot back in the heavier days, in the glam rock years of the 80s. You know, when you're playing that music, then you do a lot of picking. I don't know. I like doing it with the fingers because I have a lot more control, finesse, hitting the dynamics a lot better. I did the same thing, you know, at least you can mute with a pick. You can't, I ain't figured out how to mute with the fingering yet, but you know.
He also got into fretless a few years ago, and now it's almost all he
constantly
plays.
Play fretless.
He loves
nice. That's nice to go to, definitely. Sweet,
you got to get used to the fact that you're not pushing your finger down between the frets. You're pushing them where the fret is, because that's being created.
The true tone, exactly. Now, when did Eleyet McConnell become? What year?
I would say the year of the pandemic is when it really kind of took off. We were
late 2019.
You know, we had a cover band that we were in, and some great musicians here around where we live, wonderful musicians, honestly. But we were trying to get away from that name because we wanted to put our own music out. We wanted to start kind of working that avenue. We didn't want to be known by the cover band that we had been playing around for a while. And so we started kind of working that up. But then when the pandemic hit, things got really strange. You know, you didn't have a lot of venues that wanted the big bands anymore. So we had the market became a duo or acoustic kind of scene. And we just thrived in that ever since.
The hours changed too. You know, the old 10 to 2 days are over.
That is no more.
6 o'clock to 9 or 7 o'clock to 10, you know. It's, you know, we get done with the show at 9:30. It only takes a half hour to load up. It's like, where's the party? They're all gone.
They're
Bars
dead.
closing down.
They're sleeping.
I still
Right, everybody's in bed.
I want to be out there all
They're
night long.
sleeping.
All right. Yeah, as you mentioned, the pandemic kind of flipped everything upside down as far as venues go and venues closing, bands.
It was a reset.
Yeah, it sure was, and it was a hard reset, but people got adjusted. I think definitely.
I think so. Yeah.
Definitely. We're coming along just great. Now,
the weird thing coming out of that pandemic, though, we ended up they opened up a brewery in town, and the first few times you go in there, everybody's sitting there because the last 2 years you pretty much contacted people on like this, and then all of a sudden we're all sitting there in flesh, and everybody's looking at each other.
We don't know how to touch.
Yeah,
we got to relearn how to talk to people.
Socialize.
We're socializing, exactly. Now, are you playing out a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting ready to start another several months of.
It's every week, every weekend. We've got stuff going on. We could play more, but we've got a couple other things going on that are taking a lot of time.
We've been moving from town to a house that we own 2 homes, so we're selling one in town, but moving 26 years of life from that town into the outdoors country is
26 years of bachelor life. Let's just
I got an ejection seat.
Injection, there you go.
And she's telling me I ain't getting rid of that.
It's like what are you? Oh my god. Yeah.
That's funny.
Pray for me. I need for everybody to pray for me.
The antlers, they can't come in.
They can't come and put above the doorway or
the house. Put them in the garage, in the barn, in the
someone to buy me a 40-foot shipping container. That'll help.
I get the garage, that's all. That's great. Now, so when you go out and you're playing, it's just you two doing pretty much acoustic duo.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yes.
We pull out the band every once in a while, and that's fun.
About 4 times a year, we'll have a band out.
Yeah. Okay, because I was saying when I listen to your music, you've got a full band going on there.
You know, and that's an interesting thing too, because we went into the studio just 2 of us, because we've written about 10 albums worth of originals. We've written a lot of stuff. Yeah. So we went in there thinking we're just going to be doing this as a duet, and then we didn't even intend to have a producer, but a guy that was associated with the studio asked if he could take one of our songs, because the first year we just tracked a lot of stuff. And we didn't use none of that. We ended up doing another year where we did it right.
We reset.
Anyway, he took one of our songs, came back with it, and that was Surrender.
Oh my God.
And we decided, well, okay, we'll deal with that. Well, then his suggestion was, he's got session musicians that a go-to, and they worked out really good.
Oh, it worked beautifully.
And we don't tell them what to do. We just send them the stems of basically the basics of the song and give them the freedom to put what they feel in it, and it's worked out really well.
There were a couple times I think JD gave him a little direction. It's like, this is what I'm looking for this. He had a vision. Yeah. But most of the time, it was just very organic how it worked out, and I love it. I loved every bit of it. Yeah.
It's nice when you give the studio musicians kind of the freedom to be themselves on music. Yeah. Because they're great players.
Oh, they can do anything. They're amazing.
Now, most of the music, who's doing the writing per se is the lyrics? Are you, Angie, or both of you?
I would say predominantly it's me and the lyrics, but we do work on it together. And a lot of there's a mixed bag. I think there's a lot of times where
probably half of them is 2 of us.
Yeah,
some of them both is me. Some of mostly her though.
Yeah,
on the lyrics.
Oh, okay, great.
Chris can crap out a melody like right now. If he had his bass and we had a way to hook it up in here, he could write something right now. Like he's got that gift. That's his superpower. I can't do that.
Well, that's great to have.
Yeah,
and when I write lyrics,
oh my gosh,
I write them in, quansets.
Yeah, like Thomas talking. I'm like, oh my God, let's. Whoa, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Let me breathe the lust upon you. Yeah, I like you.
That's a lot.
I like you. That's great. Before we go any farther, please tell everybody out in podcast land how they can find your music, you and your bio, and where you might be playing.
Well, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. You can find us on the interwebs if you look up EleyetMcConnell.com, and our schedule and merch, access to the music, all of it is there. We're on every streaming platform that there is.
YouTube, you name it.
Yeah, and yeah, look us up. Eleyet is spelled very strange. Think phonics.
Eleyet.
Eleyet.
There.
Yes, there it is. And yeah, just hit us up. We love to see the internet traffic pick up, you know.
Good deal. And I've been looking, and I see you have quite a few fans that love what you're doing and your music. What do you think of that?
It's growing.
It's growing. It's
everything's
fun.
kind of surreal
It
with what's going on. You know, we're still right now. We went to an even smaller little village called Kings Creek. It's right in the middle of a cornfield. You know, it's about a quarter-mile stretch of houses and woods and
plots
fields all around it. Yeah,
it's our little village.
It's quiet. It shuts down at 6 o'clock.
You know, it's fun. We're still anonymous, which is great because, you know, we can kind of go do whatever we want. But at the same time, we get recognized or approached all the time. And we'll talk to people, you know, because we're figuring they know us from playing out and doing different things or online. And Chris will look at me or I'll look at him and go, do you know the person? Nope. You? Nope. Okay, cool.
Nope, but they're cool.
But that's awesome. You know, everybody's nice.
That's good. That's great.
Positive. And I wonder if it's a state of the times because everybody's scared to say something controversial.
They suck.
You know?
They are.
You know, so yeah, we get a lot of accolades, you know, but you know, come on, give me the truth.
Yeah, right. Be honest with me.
You're not going to offend us, you know.
Yeah, we like to hear feedback.
Don't say nothing bad about me, but
you pointed to the other direction.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. No, never. Now, this summer, when you are quite busy, are you doing a lot of smaller venues or festivals or a little mix of everything?
So it's a little mix of everything right now. We've got our local county fair. We're playing on Sunday, and then we're doing a little winery here, brewery.
We got a class reunion, class of '79.
Class reunion tomorrow night. That'll be fun.
Nice.
We have a big. This thing has gained a lot of traction over the years, but there's a local freshwater farm that has this shrimp and fish festival every year. We're fishing shrimp.
And it's music for 2 or 3 days straight.
Yeah,
from early morning to
we're
evening.
Playing that, and we've played that for the last few years. But that has tons of people from all over the place that end up coming here for that. And so it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
And then and in August. We are at the end of August. We're going down to Atlanta for the International Singer-Songwriters Association Awards. We actually made the cut we're finalists in 2 categories.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
There it is. If you'll be there, we got to figure out where we can find you because we're going to be there.
Yeah, we've been in the finals for what?
Well, we were nominated for like 4, but we made the final cut for 2 categories. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And in October, we go down to the Nashville to the Josie Awards, which is the Grand Old Opry House.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
beautiful.
We'll have the pre-party the night before, and then
we're
the
doing
big gala event.
Right.
It's just a journey. It's just a journey.
Nominated for 3 categories there, which is crazy considering our album just came out in December. So
that's wonderful.
Wow. Thank you.
That's
thank you.
Really good. Yeah, that's great. I'm trying to make it to the awards, but I'm pretty busy. I don't know if I'll make it. I'm up for 3 awards too, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
We'll see what happens. But speaking of awards, you're up for a lot of things are going on. The Independent Music Network, the European Indie Music Network, Liberty Film Awards.
I just saw that the last couple of days. Yes. Like, what?
Red Carpet Awards. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's nuts. Like, what? Yeah, for indie artists and for this has been a dream of ours to get our stuff recorded and out to whoever would want to listen to it. So that this kind of reception is more than we could have ever dreamed or asked for.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
soon,
But you know what our life consists of?
We
wake up in the morning, she's got to let the chickens out.
I got to feed chickens. Yeah. Feed dogs, chickens, and cats.
Yeah, we got our little homestead going.
That's wonderful. I just got the dog to walk. That's fun. That's great. So when you're doing, I want to ask the smaller venues and the festivals, what do you like better? The people being on top of you at the smaller venues or people kind of out there a little ways on a bigger stage?
It's very impersonal on the bigger venues when you're out there and a couple thousand people are out in front of you because you're not really one-on-one. life happens on the stage.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening is happening on the stage. Where when we're in a smaller venue, it's everybody kind of, you know, you can see them, they can see you, you know, it's all right there. It's more intimate.
Yeah.
I like being able to interact. There's things I like about both of them. So there's energy in the live, the bigger things that you don't necessarily always get with the small intimate places. But I still try to connect with individuals as best I can when I'm performing, even in those live moments. And I usually can do that. But not to the same level or degree like you can when you're in that smaller place where there's maybe, you know, 50 people that can fit in the room, you know.
Yeah, in smaller venues, we get a little more personal.
We start storytelling. We talk about our lives. People. You know? We tell, it's great. It's great.
That is cool. Yeah, it's more intimate. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, music-wise, do we have quite a few singles out, or what do we got?
We got 3 singles out right now. 3
singles out. We were talking with Michael Stover, our promoter, and we may actually mine a couple more from this album, and we're going to get back in the studio soon.
This album has got a lot of potential for singles.
It does.
And then we're going to be as soon as we get our move done, completed here this month, then we'll get back in the studio and we'll start putting singles out with videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get enough of them out, we put an EP out.
You know, it's kind of a singles world, isn't it? I mean, it's just
it is.
It is.
Videos and singles.
Yeah, the first single was out on October 27th, and it hit number 26, I think, top 40 of the iTunes in the UK. And then the second one was Surrender. It hit number 5
in the UK.
And then the third one, I don't even know or if it's even charting, but it's out there. That's the one we got a video award for.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, when you're in the studio, I want to ask, and you know, Chris, you know, we go back a ways and stuff. Do they have any analog equipment to use? Or is
you know what? We have a studio called Rephrase in Dayton, Ohio, and they have a whole wall filled with the 2-inch reel-to-reel, the whole antiquated system. If you want to use it, it's there. So they've got the digital world, and then they've got the whole antiquated world. Yeah, and you know, in some cases, you know,
I've heard, and we've communicated with him some time ago online, but there's a guy here in Dayton named Patrick Himes that I think still uses a lot of analog stuff, and they say he's phenomenal. He's out of Nashville or from Nashville or has worked in Nashville, but now lives up here. And I would love to go see what he could do with song too. Yeah,
I'd rather go that route. It's a little more expensive, I hear, but
you'll be a little bit more time involved. Yeah. But boy, there's a different sound.
Yeah, I miss that. I do miss that. Now, when you hit the road, are you sticking close to town, or are we going out of state a little bit?
We went out of state a couple years ago.
Yeah, not as much. Mostly close to home.
Mostly close to home. But as soon as we get the house sold and we get this really settled down, because we've been at this, we had to renovate this house.
Yeah.
And then move out of that house. So we're coming to an end. I can see the light at the tunnel.
You see the light.
And, so what we'll be doing at that point is really starting to concentrate on what we want to do. How do we want to go out there? Where do we want to go? You know, the venues and everything. We do our own bookings. You know, Mike does all the Stover does all the promotion, and well, what a job he does for us.
Oh my God.
But you know, it's up to us to go out there and find a gig. You know, so. We'll be more concentrated into that.
I think, once we have a few irons come out of the fire here in the next few months,
I want to go to Europe.
We'll be able to branch out a little
Europe
bit.
loves us.
I would love to go.
Oh, yeah. You do great over there. You do great over there. Now, are both of you doing your PR and all that stuff, or do you have anybody helping you?
We do.
We do everything.
I do most all of that.
Yeah. It's all done here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think of today's times where you could do everything on a computer, but back in our day, we had to foot it, do it out of the trunk, put it up on the poles?
It's a different world.
I think he prefers the old way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Put the flyer on where the stores are, you know, and all the poles and everything. Yeah, it's a different world. I'm a late bloomer, and I don't adjust well to things, you know. I just bump into it. It takes stomping. I got to learn how to use that thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny how things have changed quite a bit.
And quickly.
Too quickly. It's very quickly.
It's a different world. And, and those there are people. The money's in. That's another thing. Where's the money coming in from?
Yeah,
In
right.
the digital world, let me tell you,
the attention span is like a flea, right? So you put a video out, and people might watch, 10 seconds of it. You put a 10-second reel out, and you get tons and tons of views. People watch it. It's just amazing to
the algorithms.
How people are so.
It's a game. It's like playing the lottery.
Short.
It pretty much is, yeah. It's crazy. I don't get it. Yeah. So, well, I got some fun questions I'd like to ask you, each of you. And so let's go down that road. And I'm trying to figure out which one I want to pull out first, because I got some good ones here. All right. You each get to answer this one. You get two people to choose from, one that's alive, one that has passed away. We'll start with you, Angie. Who would you really want to grace the stage with and perform with? Who's your dream?
Merle Haggard. Easy. Merle Haggard. Right. And then someone alive. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is hard because I have a few I want to pick, but I'm going to say Paul Rodgers.
Oh, Paul Rodgers.
I have to stand up and sing a song next to Paul Rodgers. I just don't know what I would do. I love him. I love everything about him.
No, he's amazing. I got to see him a few times. Great.
Yeah.
Singer.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, what about you?
Wow, I don't know.
I didn't even have to think about that.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Man, somebody dead or somebody alive.
One of each.
There's so many of them alive that I wouldn't mind, getting on a stage with. It would have to be more of a bluesy rock kind of feel to it. Give me some examples here.
I could see, gosh.
I'd like to play with Charlie Starr.
Yeah. Yes.
I would like to play with him sometime.
From Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah, I feel like I could roll into some of that.
Yeah. That'd be great.
For somebody alive.
Yeah.
Somebody dead. Oh my God.
Well, honestly, I could see him jamming with Robert Cray too. I totally could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that bluesy rock is where my most influence goes into. Yeah. The standard blues, to me, I did do that with a band one time, early 80s. And afterwards he gave me my paycheck and said, don't ever play for us again. Because, you got to hold yourself.
He's busy.
And I'm like,
he's too busy.
I feel it a different way. So
I can see him. I think
it.
Hendrix too. I would love to see. I think somebody passed away. Hendrix would be great because Hendrix is kind of out of the box. He's outside the box, and did a lot of that to people.
She would probably know.
He could roll right with
it. She would know more about what I would fit into.
He's so off the cuff,
oh man,
and just feel stuff. And yeah.
My job, besides playing the bass and everything, is I make sure that we got good equipment, that we're organized, and that we can set up in a half hour, we can tear down in a half hour.
Here's what Chris is known for with all of us that play with him forever. He's the only guy we all know that will, in the middle, like we're ready to play on stage a song, and Chris has got his phone out on YouTube. We're like, what are you doing? I gotta remember this song. We played this song. Are you serious? Oh my
Last
God.
week, okay, just asking.
Yeah. The minute it starts, he's like, he's all fine.
That's wonderful. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, how many times you walk up to a mic and you can't remember a word until you get right up there?
Happens.
You got to clear your head and just do it,
You just got to go for it, yeah.
Usually
That's great. All right, let's jump to the next one here. Let's go around the world. Let's think. You each get to answer this one. Okay. All right. What's stage anywhere in the world you want to perform on?
Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, that would be a nice one.
Yeah.
Red Rock. I'd like to do the Red Rock one time.
Red Rock, Colorado. Beautiful place.
Yeah.
I could hear you guys playing Red Rock, definitely.
Yeah, CBGBs were still around, even though we wouldn't fit in there very well. But I got hair for that.
That's good. CBGBs. Oh, that is great. All right, now I'm going to throw this question out here. And usually it happens to my rock bands and my heavy metal bands, but Chris, you've been in this quite some time, and Angie. Any embarrassing moments you can think of that really stand out?
I tore my sweat glands out of this armpit one night. I jumped off the drum. I jumped on the kick drum. And that was in the glam rock years. And when I jumped off my guitar and I went in the air like this, where the lead singer had taken the mic off his stand and stuck it over there. So I came down on it and it went up into my armpit.
His armpit.
Yeah. And I took a few steps thinking, this hurts. And it was dragging behind me. So when I kicked the bass out of the way, it looked like grapes came out. Yeah.
Oh, no.
They ended up calling the emergency room, obviously.
Yeah.
And I passed out, all that stuff. And my friends were down the dressing room, down in the basement. And so the ambulance, instead of coming to the back of the bar, which is just right there, they went to the front. So my friends do this to me, with my armpit wide open and dragging me through this crowd where somehow they heard the bass player got stabbed. And I didn't think that was very manly because, I'm like, oh.
Oh, no.
But anyway, that was
I'm kidding aside, there's some big vessels in there. That could have been
bad.
Yeah, you're right. You're lucky, very lucky. How about you, Angie?
Really embarrassing.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
I want to hear his story.
Why don't you do that?
Okay, so we're down in Florida, right? We get ready to hop on stage.
Yes. Okay,
They're asking us to hop on stage.
Yes.
And anyway, we were sitting at this table where this woman was just buying fireballs after
He was covered in Fireball and Fireball.
Yeah.
And Patron.
And I was telling her at that point, I told her, I
said, didn't know her.
Yeah, at the point I said, Angie, I don't think I can get up there and play. Next thing you know, we're having to get up there and play. They're all with in-ears. We don't have the in-ears. And they give me a 5-string bass, and I'm only a 4-string bass. So that top string kept throwing me off, right?
Okay.
So all of a sudden, I hear all these cymbals crashing. I look, she had missed the first 2 steps on the stage. It went right into the drum kit.
My face was going into the drum kit. And our friend, Tommy, who was the lead guitarist of this band, reached over, grabbed me by the back of my pants, and yanked me out of the drum set.
No.
Yeah. It was fantastic. But we killed it. It was one.
The other time, she was, we were watching somebody perform, and they asked her to come up to sing. And the guy there has never heard Angie sing, right? All he knows is that she's walking up. She's sober. Her flip-flops get caught in a rub, and then she goes face first and plants into one of those dartboards.
I mean, I did. It was not even graceful. Like, if it was a slow-mo, my face was doing those. And I turned around, I flipped my hair back, and I went, okay, I'm ready.
And of course, he's never heard her before. And then, of course, when she sang.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The cord had wrapped around my foot. And every time I tried to pull away from it, it got tighter. And so it got so tight that I literally went into this dartboard no grace at all. None.
There's a lot of other stories, but we can't.
Wow.
You just tell people that's part of the act.
It is.
We include that.
I did that on purpose. I meant to.
You didn't have to pay extra for that. That was included. Okay. That's funny. Okay. Well, let's shoot to this question. And this one I really like to hear the answer on. And let's just go there. Okay. You both got a gig you're doing. Say it's a crowd of 500 to 1,000 people. You get up to the stage, you get geared up, and you're doing the whole band. Okay. So, Angie, you get up there and you get behind the mic and you start playing. Crowd turns around, starts moving towards you. Maybe they're swaying, maybe they might dance. I don't know. But when you see them possibly singing your music and doing all this, it has to bounce back to you. How does it feel in each of your hearts when you see that?
That is the best compliment you could ever get. I think as an original artist, that's.
I would have to turn around because the tears.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I've gotten to that point, and
I would just want to go out and hug them all.
Hug them all.
My life, things like that really get you.
It does.
Sometimes it doesn't take much to get me there. The older I get,
that's fantastic. Yeah, he's totally McKinley now.
Yeah,
it's great, and you always remember those moments, no matter how many you get. You remember each and every one. It is wonderful.
I remember a few times looking up singing an original song. I kind of got lost in where I was when I wrote the lyrics, and I'll see a person literally crying in the audience who's and that moves me heavily. That moves me just incredibly.
It does, because you got beautiful music and it means something and it comes from the heart.
Yeah.
Everybody can tell that. It's great stuff. So again, let's tell everybody in podcast land where we can find you again.
Yep.
Eleyet McConnell on Facebook. It's Eleyet McConnell. ELEYET MCCONNELL. Same thing with our website, and you can find us that way. We're on all the digital platforms. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify,
and iTunes, Amazon, Deezer, all the things.
You can find us everywhere.
Okay, great. Well, before we get out of here, a couple more questions. Have you been doing any collaborations, trying to maybe do something with some other artists, possibly?
We've actually talked about this
a
few times. So there's some folks that that we would love to work with, that we've talked with, that are playing. There's
a couple down in Cincinnati that we would really like to collaborate with. There's we would like to take and utilize the talent locally. I'm talking regionally.
So much of it here. Ohio is Boston.
Yeah, and Eleyet McConnell, we don't see it as just us. If we can help somebody down the road that's been playing forever and can just get a little bump, we'll put them in.
We've sure had help along our way.
Yeah.
Gracious to us, and we want to return that.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Future-wise, the next 5 years, where do we want to see Eleyet McConnell? Where do we want to see ourselves?
Wow.
I would love to see our music reach just as many people as possible.
I'd like to be in the third or fourth album.
If that means somebody takes one of our songs and makes it enormous, that's fine. If it means us performing our stuff and it becomes enormous, that's fine. I just, I feel like we tell real stories in a very raw way. Everything on that album is real stuff, and we share it in a very almost kind of naked, just stripped down kind of a way. It just is what it is. And so people can relate to that because it's just truth.
First off, I'd like to still be alive.
And I want to be alive.
Right.
Yeah.
The World's Crazy, which is the title of the CD. Crazy World.
I would love to see our music.
Yeah.
Just having as much fun as we are now.
I just want to get back in the studio. I've been saying this for several months now. I want to get back in there. I want to be more creative this time.
Yeah.
I want to utilize some ideas and see what we can do.
We really got our foot wet this last time.
We know what works for us.
Yes.
In the studio. We've got the right people behind us. So while you have that, let's just take it to the next step,
Exactly. Well, good deal. Chris and Angie, Eleyet McConnell, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on No Cover TV's podcast today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
I'd like to have you back in 6 months or a year or so and see where you're at.
Yes.
Definitely. Yes. So everybody in podcast land, check out Eleyet McConnell. You're in the state of Ohio. So if you're out and about that way, check them out because they got a busy schedule ahead of them, it sounds like. So check out where they're. And like I said, go meet them after the show or maybe before the show. Buy them a drink. I don't know. So anyways, that's always a good. That's good. I want to thank our sponsor, 616 Kebab. Stop out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Great food, great stuff. Check them out. The logo's up there or over here, wherever. Backwards on the camera stuff here. So anyways, thank you everybody out there in podcast land for checking out No Cover TV podcast. Great artists like Chris and Angie from Eleyet McConnell coming out and a lot great more. So thank you. Check out their music, okay? And check out the rest of the shows. So yeah, one way or another, we're going. All right. So this is going to get passed around the world. This is your show. How you want to end it? You got anybody you want to thank out there or say hey to?
I want to thank JD Harris. He has become just a tremendous friend. He produced our record. He made it. He pushed us into ideas and things that we would have probably never considered on our own.
Yeah.
And
when you got somebody on the professional level like that, that's been in that aspect of the business, you listen to him.
He means a lot to us, and
it helped us.
We love him.
It's good to have a great producer in your corner.
And Mike Stover, absolutely. Michael Stover. Gosh, without Michael, we wouldn't be reaching all these people across the world. I mean, we're blessed. My gosh, the hands that are helping us.
And all the people that come in, they do see us. There's some regulars in there too. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, beautiful. All right, we're gonna get out of here and let everybody around the world see it. And tell everybody to go to YouTube, and I'll send a link to you. All right.
Thanks so much.
Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. We're out of here. Peace.